pain, hardcore to the brain. Let's go inside my astral plane. Find out my mental based off instrumental records. Hey, so I can write monumental methods. I'm not the king, but people is decaf. I stick them for the cream. Check it. Boom. Classic Method Man. Hello, America. Hello, world. Hello, you. It is your new best friend, Cashmere, California. And this is the Pod is Good podcast, aka the Notorious PIG, episode 40. Pod is good, and all the time. If you know, you know. If you don't, keep listening. You will learn. Today, I have a motivational moment for everyone. I have an inspirational moment for everyone. I have a show that involves one of my guys. You know, sometimes you got to get your people on, especially when your people have an incredible story like my guy does. We're going to talk entrepreneurship. We're going to talk life. We're going to talk family. We're going to talk God. If you into it, stay locked in. This is going to be a good one. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, Keir is with us today. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Dude, I'm awesome. Awesome, man. So happy to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, we've been trying to get this locked in. I was like, we got to get you on the show.
Yes, sir. We did it. We made
we,
it.
we finally did it. Life be like that, man. How's the family
Yeah.
doing?
Everybody's good, everybody's good, no complaining, just working and, continue to do what I got to do. How about you?
I'm good, man. Same thing. Taking care of the three babies. You know, they getting big. You know, my oldest just turned 10 a couple weeks ago. So, you know, she feeling herself. Um, you know, my son, he's 7 right behind her. So, you know, he feels like he should be past her. You know how that go, the boys.
Yeah, yeah,
And then my youngest one is 4, and she running the whole show. They just don't know it.
yeah. I know how it goes. I got some grandkids at the house, and the youngest one, they baby her, and she's running everything.
Running the game. I always feel like you know, Bernie Mac had it right. That whole
Right.
skit, that whole him downstairs skit, classic. Classic. The little ones always seem to figure it out. I don't know what it is. Like they learn from the older ones and then they implement it a lot earlier. They just got it.
Catch on fast nowadays.
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you said you've been working. Let's first talk about the big development in your world, the opening, the grand opening of the barbershop. Let's talk about that.
Yes, sir. So in March, well, I've been working on the shop since December of last year. I finished it up March of this year. I opened it up, and in the beginning, I struggled about what I wanted to call it, a barber shop, or it just the barber shop didn't work for me. So I
Hmm.
thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought resource center. God put it on my heart, resource center, and basically the resource center is where people can come to get resources. I got job
Hmm.
opportunities, drug programs. I have different connections in the community that I could connect people to. I have a book reading program for the kids. I have a PlayStation for the kids, and I understand that in our community, barber shops touch a lot of the community. They touch a lot of the
Absolutely.
community and a lot of the
Yeah.
people uh, that comes in and out. So we have a great opportunity to touch and change some lives and to break the stereotype to help younger men to understand that everybody's not sagging, everybody don't have a gun, and black people are successful. And
Yeah. Yeah.
we're more than just in and out of jail.
I love that. I love that. So how is that going? How are people receiving it as a resource center?
It's going great. We actually just got nominated for micro business, and we haven't even been doing this yet. Not even a year. We're getting nominated with the Black Chambers and A lot of these businesses has
Wow,
been out here for a while, so it's a
that's
great
awesome.
opportunity, and I'm excited about it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And so tell everybody where the resource center is.
The resource center is located in Sassoon, California,
Okay.
right next,
Okay.
not too far from San Francisco, next to Fairfield,
There
274
you
G Sunset.
there you go. There you go. It's like, not everybody know where Sassoon is at. So I was about to hit them with the geography,
Right,
but you
right
set it
next
off.
to
Almost
Vallejo,
smack dab. What'd you say?
next to Vallejo.
Right next to like almost smack dab between Frisco and Sac.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's up. Okay, shout out to Northern Cali. And so what made you choose Sassoon?
Well, it was, I looked at a different locations and I needed somewhere big enough to where I can grow. And it was a
Mm,
good spot. And I prayed and I asked God, what's for me is for me, and it's the door that He opened for me. And I looked at some other spots, and they were small, but I was just paying. Would be paying just as much as I would for this one. So I put myself in a situation to where I can grow. Where I gave myself room to
yeah.
grow.
Nice, nice. So you said you have a lot of resources. You talked about drug programs and games and jobs. So let's kind of like break down any of those. So let's starting with like jobs. Like what are you doing to facilitate jobs for people at the resource center?
So I'm connected with SBA, SBDA,
Small business
workforce.
administration.
Yeah. So there's just a bunch of organizations that will pay for you to go to school, for trucking school, barbering school, electrician, whatever it is you want to do, DOR. If you go to them and you explain your situation, they'll fund you. You know, so I get all the resources, whether it be from a dentist office or anybody who's
Hmm,
doing anything in the community that will help
yeah,
somebody rebuild their life. I'm I get that connection and I start building relationships with them. So when people, whether they be homeless or just getting out of prison or they just tired of living the life that they live in, then I can
yeah,
give them the resource. I give you a roadmap. If you really want to get yourself together, this is what you have to do. And if you follow, if you take advantage of everything, then you'll be successful.
wow, that's phenomenal, bro.
Yeah,
That's phenomenal. We need more people, doing that. More people trying to galvanize and bring together resources and bring together opportunities because that's usually the issue for the person who their life isn't where they want it to be is that they just may not know how to get there. They may not know where to start. They may not know, they kind of can understand my, point Z, but point, A is just like no clue.
right.
So that's incredible.
Right. So
That's
yeah,
really
I'm
incredible.
really excited, to have the opportunity to be able to do that. So, it's a
Yeah.
great feeling to give back and more so. For example, I took a brother down uh to get his business license. And to him, it was a task. It was hard. So he said, "Would you go with me?" I went down there and I took him down there and did everything that I already done. And sometimes we
Mm,
need somebody to walk with us. And in the real life, it's not that hard to go
yeah.
down to DMV to get your license.
Yeah.
Go down
Yeah.
and get your social security card. Do the things that that's going to keep you legal, so you don't create more problems for yourself. And a lot of times we just don't realize how simple it is.
True, true. But having a guide is everything. It's just like, it's just like going to another country. You know what I mean? Like you can flail around and try to find out where's what, but it's a lot different when you have someone that's been there before, someone
Right.
that lived there. They can walk you through a lot more efficiently. You know what I mean? You get a lot more done in a certain amount of time, and overall, it's just a more successful, journey. So,
Iron sharpens iron.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
my brother's keeper.
Absolutely.
Hey, teamwork make a dream work. You know,
so So any other success stories that you have? I know it's very early, but any other success stories you have already from people that have come to the resource center? They needed one thing or another, and you were able to see them go from point A to at least point B through your
Well,
research.
yeah, yeah, I have. I got another young man. We do a 6 week course here every maybe 2 to 3 times a year, and this we're going on our second one here. There's a young man. He was in juvenile hall. He was incarcerated because they
Hmm.
let a couple of the kids come over to be a part of the program. It's called Cuts and Counseling. It's through the Solano County Library. So they
Cuts and
came over, and we mentored this young man for 6 weeks. And just because those 6 weeks are over doesn't mean our relationship is over.
of course.
It's a resource center. You come back, we still continue to guide you, to give you advice, give you
Yeah.
help, whatever it is that you need. And so he just got his nursing license. So that was one of
Wow.
the most successful stories, you know, over the last couple months. Yeah,
That's dope. That's dope. That's
yeah,
heartwarming to hear. I love that cuts and counseling.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
Because a barber, as a barber, you're more than just a barber. People will sit in a chair and open up and tell you their whole life story. They'll tell you the good and the bad. And that's my opportunity to minister to them, to give them hope. I tell you another one. I prayed for this lady. She got in a chair. She told me she was fighting cancer, and things just wasn't good. So I just talked to her, cheered her up. Then I just felt on my heart, pray with her. I prayed with her, and she came by yesterday and she brought me a whole box of business cards. And
Wow.
I was like, wow. And it's just planting seeds, not that
Man.
I'm looking for anything, but
Yeah.
people appreciate, when you love them and you genuinely show that you care for them, they
Absolutely.
want to they want to pay it forward. And in these days and times, we all we got. If we stop loving each other, then we're gonna destroy each other, because
Yeah.
God said that's the greatest gift of all is love.
It's love. It's love. And I'm hearing it from you. I noticed that you've used, God, pray, minister. So I'm wondering, has your entire life been as spiritual as it sounds like right now?
Well, I've always had a relationship with God, but I always haven't listened. I
Mm.
started listening when I was about 29 years old. I was on my way to prison. I was on my way for 16 years,
Oh,
uh, at that point, I decided, it's not what I want. But then at one point, I felt like my life was over. But there was an
man.
opportunity where I hold on to every little word that I hear. And I remember my mother telling me, "You just gonna have to salvage. You're gonna have to salvage, what you have in your life. You got to make the best out of it."
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
I end up doing 10 years on that 16, and the whole time I was gone, I was staying focused. I was going
Mm,
to church. I was praying. I was fasting, and I was renewing my mind. Romans 12:2 talks about renewing your mind.
mm,
So I had to rechain. I was in such a bad condition that God had to set me there for 10 years to rewire me, to make me a new person, to get all the old out of me and put this
yeah,
new in me. And I thought
yeah,
about it, 10 years, I was in bad shape and not even really knowing how bad of a condition my spirit was in. I
yeah,
was wounded. And so I decided that, I didn't, and I talked to myself kind of hard. Like, I don't want to be a bum. I don't want to be a drug addict. I don't want to be a dope fiend. I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to always run around asking somebody for something. So I was determined to get out here and do something with my life, you
yeah,
know. And because I have the love of Christ in my heart, it's just not all about me being successful. I want to see everybody succeed,
yeah,
I want to be able to give you the resources and the help that I wish somebody would have gave me. So I
Absolutely.
started filling that gap because I understand how it is to come home with nothing. When I got
Mm,
out, I had I had $600, and
mm,
half of that went to buying clothes. You
yeah,
know, I made a sacrifice and went to a program because I didn't want to, I want to be a burden and bothering nobody. I need to figure life out because I
yeah,
didn't want to go back to doing the old things again. Because if you
yeah,
do the same thing, you get the same results.
absolutely.
So I wasn't
Absolutely.
going to go down that same road and end up in jail because at this point, I'm 40 years old. I don't
Yeah,
have 10 to 20 more years to give up of my life before
right.
I say, okay, this time it's it. I can't
Yeah.
be old and broke. Old and broke, it just didn't
You can't
sound
do both. Can't do both of them. I could be young and broke. I could be old and wealthy, but I can't do.
good. No. Because I've also learned that people treat you bad when you ain't got nothing. So I make
Mm,
sure I
because
always have
they don't want you taking
what I
there.
need. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you said you were in a bad place at that point in your life. Let's kind of. I'm assuming there's going to be people that watch this that they might feel like they're in that bad place, or maybe they don't even recognize that they're in that place right now. So let's spend a little time talking about, as you recollect on it, what your life did look like then, or what you feel got you to that place. So was there, I guess, like maybe starting in grade school or so, like looking back, were you violent, or did you have certain surroundings? Was there influences? Like, is there anything that you can look at and say, okay, well, this might have kind of started me down that path that put me on that bus that day going to do 20 to do 16?
Well, I'm gonna say for me, it was just somebody not telling me. Because
Hmm.
if somebody would have, because nobody that was in my family out of my aunts and uncles at that age that I realized that I knew they was on drugs. So
Hmm.
so I experienced that. I went down that road. But had somebody told me, hey, stay away from it,
Yeah.
I would have listened. So I didn't have many male figures in my life to talk to me. So I kind of figured life out on my own. So that's how
Wow.
I ended up bumping my head. A lot of times, so basically just running the streets, living with the life that every black man, well, a lot of black men feel like, we all think, selling drugs and drinking and getting high, the same
Yeah.
destructive lifestyle just to wake up at 30, 40 years old to realize that's not what I want, or let me get myself together. But there's so many years wasted. So that's
Yeah.
why the barbershop is so important, because I can catch them at 5, 6 years old and show them something different. And the ones
Mm,
who's already on that path, I have an opportunity to talk to them and build a relationship with them.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was just not really having nobody talk to me, that male figure in my life. All I
Mm,
saw, I saw the drug dealers jumping out the cars with the big wads of money, and that's what I like.
of
But I didn't
course.
understand that you can get up and go to work every day and get that same money. You
Right.
know, it
Right.
just it just comes in a different way. A
Yeah.
much peaceful way, a better way.
Yeah. So we all know that there's, like, systemic systems and kind of walls around, especially our group of people that um, reduce exposure, reduce information, reduce opportunities, and promote, that darkness that you say we all have this affinity for. Um, what are your thoughts on that in general? Do you feel that that does play a big part? Do you feel that that's just an excuse that people make?
No, it definitely plays a big part because honestly, music was a part of my one of the tools that enticed me because I
Mm,
didn't have a male figure. I used to listen. I done picked up some stuff for some rap songs, and
yeah,
it gave
yeah,
me some ideas, and I actually, oh, okay, that's what I'm gonna do if this happens. Okay, and I
wow,
remember song. I remember this one song, and it It said hit him in the head with a bat and hurt his skull crack and get in the wind to the track to the shack to get the map. And so that was my way of thinking. So
Mm.
if I get into a problem, I'm gonna bust his head, go get my gun, and be ready for them when they come. But
Wow.
when you know better, you do better.
This is
You
true.
know, and so a lot of sacrifice has went into my changing. You know, like I said, I sacrificed and went to a program. I sacrificed to be obedient to God's word because I want what God has for me and not what the world has for me. Since we're gonna talk about the dark side, and then you got a lot of people out here that will they call it put it a battery in your back and charge you. You know,
Yeah.
oh man, here's a couple ounces, man. You man, you all right with me, man. You know what I mean? And they
Right.
using you. Just like a
Absolutely.
man will falsely make a woman feel like he love her, but go sell your body. I'm
Hmm.
gonna fall that down. To me, the game's a lie.
Yeah.
And I found out the hard way that everything that's right, we're told is wrong. Like, oh, don't go work for the white man. You getting up going to work for the white. Come on, man. How else you gonna take care of yourself? You gonna get out here, take a penitentiary chance, go away, or get murdered, or be just another person, or ODing on some kind of drug, or you
Mm.
know, or just making bad choices, or you want to get up and be a man and make a way for yourself. See, we
Yeah.
got everything twisted and turned around. A man
Yeah.
get up every day and go to work so he
That's
can
a fact.
provide for his family. And another painful thing that when I was gone, my mother went through a lot, and I wasn't there to help her.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I had a cousin that picked up the slack for me in a lot of areas when I was gone. But not everybody got somebody like that. But it wasn't
Right.
his
Sure.
responsibility. It was my responsibility to be there for my mother. And
Yeah.
people don't think, I think in our community, we only think about the here and now.
Hmm.
We only see us getting away with the money, or selling a bunch of drugs and having a bunch of money. We don't think that somebody's going to snitch on us, or somebody's going to rob us and I might have to shoot them, or they're going to shoot me in the process, or
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
Yep.
a lot of different scenarios that we don't think about. We only think, oh, I'm gonna get this money, I'm gonna buy this car, and I'm gonna have this ring, this gold teeth, and then we buying a bunch of stuff that's not even gonna do no good. We just so I talk against everything that the enemy stands for because I know it's a lie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so yeah. And before
Yeah.
it's over, I gotta show you around the shop. I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
show you.
Yeah, that'd be great. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. I'm glad you brought up music because, that's an area that I don't believe that we're always as honest as we should be about. Especially our music because, we also know the other side. We know well, it's better that these artists are putting out albums and doing music something positive. At least the idea of it is positive more so than robbing somebody, more so than on the streets hustling, blah blah blah. A lot of these rappers, they come from a street life, so we look at it with those rosier colored lenses, but we still forget that but the product still has to continue in the right way. Don't step out of a life to do a product that puts 100 other people into life. And so that's a
Just
really
for the
good point
money.
that
Just
you
for
that
the
you brought
money.
up.
We will, a lot of times, it's very misleading,
Yeah.
and we got to get better information to the young.
Yes.
We got
Yeah.
we got to get better information because these are the same people in 20, 30 years that's going to be, these are the people that's supposed to take care of us and look after us. And
Yeah.
if they don't have any love or compassion in their heart, then you already know how much looking out they going to do.
True.
So,
True. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a big problem, but it takes people like you, being willing to finally listen, like you said, and put yourself in a position that that can educate them. You know what I mean? And so you went through. You didn't have. It's interesting to hear. The your life created this. capacity for yourself that now you look and see in other people. So, like you said, you didn't have the right role models. So that created a capacity for some need to fill that gap. And obviously it got filled with the wrong things, even though God might have been trying to talk to you during the time, but like you said, you didn't listen. But when you're looking at these younger kids now, you see, oh, you got the same capacity I had. So let me be a voice for you in the place that you're in. I mean, you're like a more positive version of scared straight. Like we don't got to go down down the scary route. Let's go down the positive route. Let me show you what you can have, not what you don't want. You know,
Right.
both sides are valuable.
Yeah. I always use this scenario. You know how when they're testing the cars and they put the dummy in the car and they connect all the wires to the dummy and they
Yeah.
run it into the wall so
Right.
they can tell, what where the dummy hit his head and where the airbags need to go, how much pressure and all that.
Yeah.
I say, you can learn a lot from a dummy. You know,
Huh.
you can learn a lot from a dummy. You learn
This is true.
everything what not to do.
This
So
is true.
and I'm gonna give you everything. That I'm gonna build you up, not tear you down. You
Hmm.
know, I
Yeah.
mean, my community is hurting in a way that it's sad. It just breaks
Yeah.
my heart. Where you
Yeah.
see young men just don't have a clue about what life's about, and nobody's like, hey man, come here, let me talk to you. Because
Yeah.
if you start talking to them, they gonna listen.
Right.
I've been sitting there for over like 13 years out here, and I got people, man. Thank you, man. I'm getting graduation pictures. His dad ain't around, but hey, here's a picture because you've been talking to him for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
they kids. And it's a great feeling to know that I was a part of touching somebody's lives. I've had people come back and say, man, if it wasn't for you that day, man, I was gonna kill him, man. But you stopped me
Wow.
from doing that. Thank
Wow.
you, man. And it's like, wow, you know. So
Yeah.
I took advantage. I feel bad about a lot of stuff that I've done in life, but there's nothing I could do about my past, but there's
Right.
everything that I could do about my future.
Yeah.
Because when we young and we don't have no guidance, we on drugs, we do a lot of things. But when we sober up and we understand what life's truly about, then we become the man that we're called to be, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
we wasn't called to be broke or locked up in prison. So I think one of the tools I would tell somebody, you gotta start thinking about your consequences before you do things. Think about, do I want to go spend 20 years in prison or 10 years in prison, or start thinking about where you see yourself at in 10 years. And
Yeah.
then you gotta be willing to make the sacrifices to get there.
Yeah.
And another tool that really helped me, man, when I was out there and I was in the street and God was just starting to tap me a little bit. And I was carrying a gun back in these days. And then I started thinking, if if I'm going somewhere and I feel like I need to take a gun, then I don't need to go. Or if
Hmm.
I'm going somewhere and I don't feel comfortable enough to take my kids, I don't need to go.
That's
So
true.
there's a lot of different things that I started thinking about and doing differently that
Yeah.
made my life different because God didn't create me to be locked up in a cage.
Yeah. Yeah.
God created
That's
me
a fact.
to take care of my
Live life
family.
abundantly. Yeah.
Yeah. But the good news is, I've been able to, my mom, when she had a breakdown, she lost her house. But I was able to get out and help her get another house. I'm over
Nice.
there cutting the grass and cutting the bushes and doing everything I should have done when I was out there, running around getting high.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I
we
know that.
gotta.
I know that feels great.
It does. It does.
Man, I already know. I already know. And so you bring up a good point about immediate gratification, which is really like just a human condition overall. You know what I mean? We all have that in some effect, whether it's that little snack that we choose, the little sweets, the that choice, while you drive in, like we all have it. So how do you for parts of the youth that default to that human condition of immediate gratification. I got to get it now. Yeah, I hear what you're saying about blah, blah, blah later. But right now, my stomach growling. Right now, I'm trying to shine. I got to do what I got to do. How do you break into that psyche and try to show them a different, way of thinking?
Well, I'm a break into that by by letting them know that, for one, you have to think about your consequences. You have to make sacrifices for your life. You have to do the things that are necessary in order for you to make it. And you know, one of the things that I've seen and that I experienced, going in and out, when you do that, you when that happens, you have to think that you have to think about your future. You got a lot of people go to jail and then they lose everything that they hustled for. You spend all this time hustling and making this money just to leave it with somebody or trust somebody with it, and then it's gone. The
Mm.
sacrifice is not, and plus a lot of times this person gonna go to jail 15, 20 times. I'll use my cousin for example. He's been out here doing good for the last 40 years. And the things that he's accumulated, he's been able to keep. When you're
Huh.
in and out of jail, you're losing so much. Your friends setting you up, robbing you. You got to throw dope because the police chasing you. There's so many things that come along. But if you stay that course, and you'll get more, this is what I learned too. You'll get more out of living right and doing right, because that equity that you build in that house is going to be, in 10 years, it's going to be way more than you going to get off of hustling. So you
That's
just have to make those sacrifices. And then you got to think about what's happening to you, to everybody around you. They
huh.
get murdered, they going to jail, they getting shot and getting paralyzed, they got colostomy bags. So you
Uh,
have to figure out, what do you want for yourself? Is that worth it to you? Or is it just, slow money is the best money? You get up every day, you go to work, you ain't missing no family barbecues. I remember I used to call home. Oh man, call home on Thanksgiving. Everybody gonna be here. Call home. Hey, what y'all doing? Talk to all my cousins. And one time it broke my heart because I had been down. It was a hard blow. I had been down about 7, 8 years at this time. And I had
huh.
a few more years to go. And I told him, yeah, I got a couple more years to go and I'm out. And my cousin was like, man, that's a long time. And for me, I'm excited because I got a couple years left. But I
Right,
really thought
right.
that it was a long time. But I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
psyched myself up to get through it mentally.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know. So what I'm gonna say to those youngsters is, stay focused, make a sacrifice, because you can look around and see everybody going to jail, getting murdered. The fentanyl taking them out. They
Mm,
become drug addicts. You see
yeah.
them one day riding around in a drop top, and next thing you know, they're in the paper fighting 25 to life. They done shot somebody tried to rob them. So you got to realize the fast way ain't necessarily the best way. But if you get out here and do things right, you're going to oversee that. Because the bank, once you get your credit right, by the time you 2025, well, 25, they'll start, there's a thing called line of credit, business credit,
Yeah.
putting things in your business name so it don't show on your personal credit. Then you
Right.
start getting a different type of money. Then you
Yeah.
start buying real estate. So these are the things that I like to share with people to let you know that it is hope. You don't got to flip burgers all your life, but you
Right.
do have to start somewhere. Getting up and going to work is good for the soul. It's gonna teach you some
Mm,
values and give you some it just make you feel good. Like when I get up
yeah.
in the morning, I'm tired, but I
Yeah.
feel good because I'm going to
Yeah.
work, I make some money, and I'm able to help my family out. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
calling somebody like, hey, I'm 300 short, because I
Mm,
went out and popped some bottles or something. You got to do things that make sense.
yeah. Man. Man. You said a lot. You said a lot right there. And I do believe that most people, when they hear more weight put on the worst case scenario, because out of everything that you said, I felt like that kind of stood out. Is like, where does a person put the weight of how they view their choices? If you're just thinking, you know, I mean, yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing, but my man, he got caught up. He only doing like 5 to 10, like 5 to 10 light. But you flip that and look at, like, dude, in 5 to 10 years, you could be a doctor. You know what I'm saying? In 5 to 10 years, you could be a lawyer. 5 to 10 years, you could have a business that's booming at that point. I mean, obviously with um, the right guidance, getting the right funding, the right mentorship. But in that amount of time, you can get all those things. And if
Right.
you and there's no downside to that. You don't have to look over your back ever if you're, a child dentist in the next 8 years. Like, you're good. Ain't nobody potentially gonna take it away from you. Whereas this other thing that you're doing, number one, the money ain't gonna last nearly as long, and you're constantly looking over your back. So where do you put the weight of
Yeah.
your choice?
And there's a thing called indictments that people don't even think about. The feds will let you get 20, 30 cases before they come and get you. So
Talk to
you'll
Donald
look
Trump.
around and you think you're getting away with something, but they stacking them cases on you. And
Yeah,
then the Fed got so many cases on you, you ain't gonna win.
you
You
ain't
end up
gonna win.
taking a deal for 30, 40 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you end
So
up they
it's
end
just
up
a waste
hitting you with
of life.
Rico or something.
So they call that backwards hustling. They call it
Yeah,
backwards hustling.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. No, no,
So let
that
me,
that
let me
makes
yeah, I would definitely want to show you around, man, and show you a couple things in here, before it's all over.
definitely, definitely. We gotta let people know where they need to come. You know what I'm saying? They get a get a
Oh,
get a
yeah,
vibe
the
for the resource
resource
center.
center. The resource center.
The resource center is a lovely. I actually got a chance to walk around, but I didn't get the tour from you. I got the tour from the
All right.
Queen, which I know was just as good.
Yes. Yeah. Now I'm trying
Next
to
I
figure
got to
out how
get
to.
one.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to flip the camera around.
It might be in the settings, and it might allow you to choose which camera to use. If not, you just got to turn it around.
Turn it around. Let me see.
I guess I should pause that, to turn it around.
Okay. You could pause it and I could figure it out.
No, no, no. I meant that sounded a little suspect. Tell another man to turn it around. He disliked that so much that he actually got offline. Now I know he's trying to figure out his camera. So everybody listening, we figuring things out right now. I'm gonna get the guests back on. Don't worry. The show must go on. You are watching the Pod is Good podcast. My guy Keir is definitely bringing a lot of wisdom to the youth and to men across the board. Let's get him back on. There we go.
All right. Here we go right here.
Okay.
So this is it right here. So this is the book reading section for the kids. Here's the little games. Here's the reading book. I don't know if you've seen the newspaper article I had for that, where I did the interview with the newspaper about the book reading kids to educate the kids and to get them to reading again. Little play section for them. We got a couple brothers. It's almost time to get back to work, so they coming back in. But yeah, this is it. This is it. It
Nice.
feels good. It remind me. And by
Yeah.
the way, that's
Yeah.
my cousin right there, the one I was telling you about.
Okay.
That was there
What's
to
up,
help me
cousin?
out, man, and was supporting me the whole time I was gone.
Love it. Love it.
This is
You
my
need
boy
that.
right here. This Belly Mac. He just got his apprentice license.
There you go. Congratulations, my
Yeah, he's
guy.
another young man I'm helping out right there.
Nice. Nice.
King Carter Cuts right there.
What's going on,
Yeah,
family?
so, just different things with the kids. Spider Man on the wild side. It's a good positive. I don't. There's no cussing or smoking outside, or
I love it.
no foul or disrespectful behavior. Because
Yeah,
people
yeah,
come here with their wives and grandmothers and those kind of things.
yeah, yeah.
So
That
I'm
makes
gonna
sense. I
let
love
you
it.
see
I
the
love it.
back. So this the backup. You always got to keep a clean bathroom.
Okay, got to.
Always keep a clean bathroom.
There you go. Got to do it right, especially you got ladies in there.
Yeah, we got a massage therapist in the back. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah, we just went on lunch. So yeah, this is it.
Oh man, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
What's the address one more time?
274D Sunset and Sassoon.
Nice.
We out here rebuilding lives and trying to, help brothers, get back on track. If you got a desire to do something with yourself, I'll be more than happy to talk to you and give you some different opportunities,
Love
of
it.
things you can do to have a better life.
Yeah,
Because we
man.
don't always have to suffer and spend our life in jail and in sorrow. Because once you get 20 or 30 years, you can say sorry all you want, but
Mm,
that doesn't go away.
yeah.
You have to finish that time, and then you have to mentally make it through it because there's a lot that comes with being incarcerated that people don't think about.
True.
You think just all kicking it with your friends and your homies and all that. No, man. Things happen. People die. You can't go to those funerals. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot. So it's all about you know thinking about things before you do it. It's about thinking about things before you do it.
Yeah.
Making the right decisions and choices. Before you do things.
Yeah.
You know?
Understand that every choice has repercussions, and
Yeah, and
a
that's
lot
what
of
you got to think about. You got to think about what's important to you as a person, and don't be selfish to where you just all just thinking about yourself, because another thing when people get incarcerated, you're not the only one that's affected by that.
yeah.
My mother told me she felt every one of those years I did, and then she also told me, she said, one thing, she said, when you locked up, I'm not worried about you. She said,
That part.
yeah, it's these are real
That
conversations that
part.
people really don't, that they don't think about,
Right.
that what you put your family through.
Right.
Like my cousin just told me, he was like, he used to be like, when he said, man, if you're not gonna change your life, he said, get out of California because
Hmm.
3 strikes is real. 25, 30 years. He said, I don't want to see that happen. If you're not gonna change your life, man, get out of here. I said, man, I'm gonna change my life. I don't want to be in jail nowhere, because it's just a waste of life, man. Because you know, God created us in His image, so we're created to love and help each other, and there's still a lot of good left in the world. That's why it's still functioning. But the
Yeah.
day that doesn't happen no more, then it'll be a different story. But
This is
until
true.
then, we just got to keep, helping each other and doing things to make things better.
Yeah.
That's the only way, to get through it.
Absolutely. Well, Kier, I know we running low on time. I know you got, some heads you got to cut. You got some lives you got to mold. You got
Yeah.
resources to give out, and we
Yes, sir.
appreciate you being a resource on the show today, my guy. It has been a really good conversation. I got to have you back on. There's some panel discussions that I want you to have with a few other previous guests. Because there's actually another guy in your area that's doing a similar thing, not through the idea of a barbershop facility, but he's also working on programs to help the youth, to help young black men, to help them
Right.
with jobs. And I feel like getting more of us in the same space just makes that voice even louder. So please tell me you'll come back.
I
And
will. I'll
I,
be more than happy to.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, this is how we sign off. I'm going to say pod is good. You say all the time. I'll say all the time. You say pod is good. You got me?
Gotcha.
All right, my guy. Pod is good.
All the time.
And all the time.
Pot is good.
Here, thank you, my guy. I'll talk to
Thank
you soon,
you.
brother.
All right.
All right, now.
Appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You do the same.
All right.
All right, everybody. That was episode 40 of the Pod is Good podcast. My guy, Keir Robertson. Did I tell you it was going to be a story of motivation, inspiration, entrepreneurship? You can tell that he's been through a lot of negativity in his life, which we all have. So you may have only been through negativity for a day. Maybe it was that time you stole that thing out of that place and then you got caught and you felt so bad. Maybe that was your story. Maybe you've been in it for 10, 20, 30 years. Who knows? But the shining idea that Keir brings is that you can change it. You can change it. No matter how bad, no matter how dark, whether you were strung out on drugs, whether you in jail, no matter what it is, don't look at it like it ain't for you. Getting out of that life ain't for you. If you want it, you can have it. Because when Keir got to the point where he decided, I don't want this, he didn't have it no more. When he said, I wanted something different, he went and got something different. So please go check out the Resource Center in Suisun, California. That's Suisun, California. It's in the Bay Area, around 45 minutes outside of San Francisco, depending traffic. You know how Cali get. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you enjoyed the channel. If you do, please subscribe, follow, share, like, comment, anything, whatever you want to do. If it's just saying, yo, good show, Cash, or terrible show, Cash, whatever it is, please do it. It's free. It costs you nothing but a little bit of your time, which is our most valuable resource. But it means so much to the channel and to the growth of the Pod is Good movement. So, that being said, till the next time, I got to figure out what rap I'm going to do next time. Because y'all know we keep the classics coming. I am Cashmere, California. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.